All right, everyone, let's quickly start with the writing class today. So before we begin the class, we talk about few things. So the idea is very simple. Essay writing is always a nightmare for a lot of people. Why? Because your essay is evaluated with respect to four components. One is task response, second is coherence, cohesion, third is lexical resource, fourth is grammar. Of all the four, the first two are the nightmare. Task response, what ideas to choose with respect to the question asked. Correct? Coherence, cohesion, art of narration. So these two are the most difficult aspects of essay writing. If you are good with these two things, for sure you'll get 8. If not, 7.57, 6.56, it starts with it. These two are not so highly, prioritized. These two, you don't have to worry too much as long as you are okay with these two things with respect to the basic idea of the vocabulary and the grammar, you should be able to get the scores. But these two are the problem. So as usual, today we will take up a question. Shubham has already written this. I'm going to review it right in front of you and show you what mistakes the essay has, how to overcome them, and lot of things. So this is the question. If you observe the question carefully, there are two things asked in the question. What are the reasons for this has to be answered separately in the second paragraph? How can people research this particular thing should be answered separately in the first paragraph. Sorry, third paragraph. As simple as that. First paragraph going to be introduction. Second paragraph going to be what are the reasons for this. Third paragraph going to be how people research this. Fourth paragraph going to be conclusion. So what is the question? In some countries, more and more people are becoming interested in finding about the history of the house. Okay, what do you mean by history of the house or building you live in? What do you mean by history? You can click on the chat option on the bottom right and give me hint about what is the meaning of history. What is the meaning of history of the house? Background, past. Does it mean to verify the documents? Does it mean to verify the documents of the house before buying? What if litigation case comes? What if someone files a case? No, it does not mean that you talk about litigation cases because document problem, that problem. No, imagine, sorry, try to understand the meaning of this. History of the house. Let's say you have a house. Probably it's a very old house you're living in. See, by default, when you take up such questions, by default, you have to assume that the house house you are residing in is a very old house. Now, this house history means who built it, when it was built. Is it like long, long ago? Why it was built? Who built it? And once they built, who all stayed there? Does it have any significance right now? And lot many things. What are the reasons for this? One reason is to know who lived in the past so that you get more information about the building you are living in, curiosity wise. Second reason could be to know if anything bad happened, if someone committed suicide, something happened because of the negative forces are attracting, lot many stuff. There could be a lot of reasons why, or some of the reasons that you find could be of significance in upholding the value of the property. What if you get to know King, Marcus Richard in 18th century built this, he was living there. If you prove this outside, the value will just soar high. Like this, there could be a lot of factors. The question is not about safeguarding yourself with respect to having all the documents so that no one files a case against you. No, that's not the question. It's a history, means very old, 200, 300, 400, 500 years. So you tend to assume or think that the place you're living in is an old house. I recently bought a brand new apartment. No. You have bought a very old place. Many people, it's like those people who are living in old houses are really curious to know about the history of the place. That's the question. Now let's review what Mr. Shubham has written and then accordingly give marks to him. Hold on for a second. Let's read it. People are all around the world are concerned about the place they live as they spend most of the time living there. They are curious to know about the facts of the residents. This essay will explore the reasons why people have this tendency and possible ways to acquire. You always acquire the information, or receive is also fine. Okay, so this you can remove. But if I write get, do I lose marks? If you need 8, then avoid it. You need 7, 7.5, you can still write get information and get marks. All right. One of the prominent reasons, see, you cannot link it with the previous paragraph. You need to write why people choose to learn about past would be that everyone wants to live in a secure and healthy atmosphere. This is because most of the people purchase a residential property to stay for a longer period, and they want their family member to stay away from any unwanted activity and legal complications. For this, you check the documents, you don't check the history of the house. History is a very long duration. Check background check, probably 10 years, 15 years down the line. Or in some properties, it can go beyond 100 years, but that's not exactly what they're talking about, Shubham, I believe. It's not the history of the house, as there are some possibilities that the house they're residing in might have a strange background, which might have an evil effect. Now he is going to talk about the strange background. For instance, a newly married couple purchased a pre-owned apartment in building in Mumbai, and later it was found. Pre-owned apartments came like 10 years, 15 years before. Okay, found that all the flat was also named after another person. This crisis was caused due to less research about the property, and they faced a legal procedure to acquire it again. The way you have written main idea, supporting idea, example, everything seems good. See, he started with the main idea as this, pay more attention. I'm explaining the coherence coefficient. And then he added a supporting idea with a linking word. This is because. And he continued the supporting idea till here. Great. And then he added, for example, which will have a strange background causing an evil effect. And example, he wrote till here. So basically, the structure is perfect. Coherence cohesion is really good. But he's not writing the correct answer for the question. The ideas are not up to the mark. The ideas that are required for this essay is missing. Instead, he has written some other idea which probably may not give a very good score for this essay. Though the coherence cohesion is really good, lexical resource is apt, grammar is all good. All these three are perfect to some extent. Yes, perfect. But task response entirely went for a toss. The idea that this essay demands is completely different from what essay he has written. Getting it right, there could be many other reasons. So how do we avoid this? By looking at the question, don't simply start writing. Pull in the ideas. I got one idea. I got one more 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 idea. Brainstorming. Out of this, the bad ideas, right ideas. Oh, this is bad. This is, I think, fine. Oh, this is very worst idea. Filter it, filter it, filter it. After filtering, you get to know some 2 ideas. Of this, which is the best idea? I think this is the best idea. Let me again cross check. Some countries, not all countries, more and more people, every word you try to understand what it means, are becoming interested now, that started to become interested in finding, exploring history of the house. Oh, what does history mean? Let me give it a thought. Let me give it a thought. Oh, when I understand more about the word history, oh, I think this particular idea is a falto idea. This is not the correct idea. Probably I would have fallen for the trap. How about this idea? No, oh, this idea is making sense with respect to history. Oh, now let me write. If this process happens at the back of the head, automatically people will write the correct answers. If this doesn't happen, automatically we tend to assume, hey, this idea is the correct idea. This idea is the precise idea. History of the word history is not going on, going with the essay that you have written. Hope you are getting it, Shubham. Not okay with the idea. Otherwise, the way you have written is really good. If you properly observe again, one sentence is a simple sentence about the main idea. Supporting idea, this is because he has written and that's a compound sentence as complex sentence. So grammar wise, he's mixing simple, compound, complex. A newly married couple and later put a comma before and. This crisis was caused due to and they face. So he's writing 3 compound sentence, one complex sentence, one simple sentence, 5 sentence in, and sixth sentence is again. This is a complex sentence. Due to is a complex word. It's a subordinate conjunction. So of 6 sentences, he has written 2 complex, 3 compound, 1 simple. So he's put in the right efforts. Everything is perfect. Just that ideas were not in sync with the question asked. As a result, this would be 6.5, not more than that. So let's also review this. The below part. The question says how people can search this. You can go to your neighbor and talk. Go to some government old register documents and find out who owned it, who was the father of this, father to father, great grandfather. And by then you can get the information about this place. There could be a lot of ideas. So let's see what he has written. To investigate it, there are few ways, such as to survey the property legally and personally by visiting the neighborhood. This means a person can visit the local government. See, never write 2 things in the very first line. Not required. Anyway, you're going to write that. There are few ways to do this. One of the ways is to survey the property legally by oneself. This means, for example, finish it. Another way to do it is to personally by visiting the neighborhood. Getting it right. So this way you properly write them one after the other. This way I don't suggest, but it's still fine. Not a grave mistake. This means a person can visit the local government body where the information of the owner is recorded and stored with legal documents. And visiting the neighbors who are residing for a longer period can give the exact and precise information about the house or society. So don't mix 2 things, correct? Why do you want to mix 2 things into one? Don't do it. Remove this, continue with all this, surveying the property legally by oneself, going to, the government offices, verifying things. For example, finish it. Another reason, then start with by visiting the neighborhood. The neighbors are the, people who have all the information. Every time they talk. As a result, you go and knock someone's door and get all the information. It would be mostly correct. That way you could have written separately, but here you have mixed up because first line also you mixed. As a result, second line also you are supposed to mix and you went on with it. Still fine, but probably you could have divided them separately. For instance, there are house registration offices in every locality where the details of the first house or landowner is stored. This can help with getting facts about it. This is fine. Probably a little more you could have added. Otherwise, also it's perfectly fine, except for the fact you have mixed 2 things into one. So coherence, cohesion, I would have given you 8. I'm giving you 7. Vocabulary you can consider 8. Grammar also 8, but task response was 6.5. As a result, it's maximum 6.5, not more than that for sure. Any doubts? Anybody having any doubts? So getting it right, it's a simple one. Probably could have rephrased this in a much different way. Remember, if you have 2 ideas in the mind, make sure you write one correctly, perfectly. And if time is still there, then only think of adding one more. 1 is perfectly fine if you want 7 or 7.5. And for 8, I always recommend people to have 2 ideas for each paragraph. If you want 7 or 7.5, you can still write 2 ideas, but the more you write, the more mistakes you end up making. Because the more you write, meaning you need more time to write, but you have less time. As a result, you need to rush. And when you rush, what happens? you know what happens. You make mistakes. Like, to be on the safer side, writing just one idea is a very wise thought. You could give all the time and thoroughly write them step by step, and still 5 6 sentences you can write. One idea is more than enough, and here as well, one reason is more than enough. But write with this. See here, I have highlighted yellow. Simple idea, simple sentence, that is the main idea. This is because supporting idea has written 2 sentences. For instance, he has again written 2 3 sentences, so this is what is required. um Coherence cohesion would be like main idea, supporting idea, 1 to 2 sentence. For instance, 2 to 3 sentences. Use simple sentence. The rest compound complex, compound complex. You can put a conclusion, not mandatory. If you really want, you can put a conclusion. 1 sentence. So this is the chart, and the template folder will help you get this automatically if you just follow the template. If you don't want to follow the template also, it's fine. More or less, it remains like this is because, for instance, one of the main reasons on one hand, firstly, something of that, not much of a difference. Only the first introduction and the last conclusion will have a proper template. To conclude, researching the facts about the house gives a sense of security. See, conclusion is nothing but summary of whatever you have written. Second paragraph, you written something, summarize it in 1 sentence. Third paragraph, you written something, summarize it in 1 sentence. Don't invoke a new thought, new idea into conclusion. Sense of security, that's what he wrote here. Sense of secure feeling, security to the family, as they mostly live in the property for a longer time. And whenever you put a and, put a comma, and it has become easy to find the details of the property as it is always being stored with legal houses. You've summarized it well in the conclusion, but due to this, like silly mistakes, it would be 6.5, not 6.6. Sorry on that. Any doubts? Any doubts? So it's a simple essay. So now I want you guys to write second paragraph. So follow this particular structure that I have written here. Main idea, supporting idea, for instance, conclusion. This is the question. You can have a look at the question and start writing. Once done, you can click on the chat option and send your essays. I'll immediately give a review. If you're not comfortable typing, you can write it neatly in a piece of paper, take a picture and WhatsApp me. I'll have a look at it immediately. So 1 second is done. We will move on to the third paragraph. Make sure you guys write it by thinking more about it. Represent a perfect one and send me here. I'll give you feedback. Thanks much. I'll just wait for your answers. Thank you. Babu, see here, I wanted like this main idea, supporting idea. This is because, for instance, 2 to 3 sentences. We have written only 2 sentences so far. I need 6 to 7 sentences in total. This structure is what I want. Firstly, write one sentence. Now this is because write second and third sentence. For instance, this has to be the structure. You have to write more. 6 sentences minimum, sir. Getting it? Example only should write at least 2 to 3 sentences, sir. See, whenever you use the word would, right? Yes will not come. He would eat. He would eat. Which if will never come, no? See, that's why don't write so complex. No, write in very simple terms. And which, if positive, can lead them towards the heights of their career and generate a positive energy, which ultimately makes their life more peaceful. This could have been written in a very simple way possible. No, divide them. This is to say lasting impact of the ambience of the place matters the most. This means continue getting it. This way you can divide the sentences and write. House brought by a family years ago near the temple was come out to be near the temple came out, not was come out. It doesn't come out. Um, looked to be so positive and soothing to the chanting of religious music that had leads. No grammatical issues are that had led, not leads, or that led. But here you have not given why they do it, right? Still, it is missing. You told ambience of a place matters, which positive can lead them. All these are the reasons. If the ambience is good, they will be happy. No, first line only you start with why they should do. No, instead of going this way, first line you bang on target. Reason why people are becoming curious to know about the facts with the house is to understand the house, which in turn will lead to the positive development. Something of that bang on target. The target banging on target is only in the instance that to a house brought by the family years ago near the temple looks so positive. See here you have not written anything about history. Did they search about the history and then understood? No. You've written different thing. You're proving facts that it was positive because there was religious chanting. They looked soothing to the chanting of the religious music. This music appeared some decades ago, but still the aura and the energy stayed. When they find out about the history of the place, they understood more about chanting and how it can preserve the aura. This way, people can learn to live better Because after finding the truth, they continued the chanting in the present. So now the main idea would be becoming curious to know about the facts is to understand the past, to inculcate in the future. Now this makes sense. So connect the dots. You're only putting dots. Dot, 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 dot. What I'm doing, I'm trying to connect it, connect it, connect it, connect it. I'm trying to give a story to it. That creating a story is missing grammatically some problems. Maybe you wrote little faster. Go slow, take time. Hope you got it. The fact is you did not mention someone researched and then understood. Excellent idea. Strength of the building. What kind of materials were used? Is abolished by themselves. Old building is abolished by themselves means something is wrong here. Buildings. See, you have to talk about someone researched. When they researched, they got to know. Then they did it. As a result, if you research, you will get to know whether you should demolish or not. Hence, researching is useful. The question is all about research, finding the truth about the history. Nowhere you wrote they are trying really hard to understand the truth. Nowhere you told. Correct? Now, in the last line, you came. This should be in the first line. Coherence cohesion problem. This should be in the first line to incite the curiosity. Hope you're getting it, Pallavi. Babu, please type everything at once. I request you everything at once, please type. So don't say this was published. Probably could have ended it and continued. This brought some significance to the place, and later it was converted to a temple as it was found to be really spiritual. This way you could have proved. I'm not sure why this was unnecessary. Evo- Evoking curiosity was not the point of contention here. Probably could have continued saying what happened next. Otherwise, you're good. This is a very nicely written essay. Appreciate it. One of the wrong reasons why people search. Very good idea. Nice supporting idea. See, guys, she's done supporting idea clear correctly. Continue. Give a conclusion. Good one, Abhindu. It's a very simple, plain one written, very nicely written. This is enough. Simple sentences, more than enough. Very written in a very simple way, perfectly enough. You have written good punch, but lot of grammatical errors. For instance, के पीछे comma मत लगाना. It's a full stop. For instance, modern architecture, full stop. For instance, comma. Continue करना है. Harappan civilization had highly designed and had different drainage system under their palaces, such as their bathing system is different from today's bathing system. If a person is living in a house which has a link to the Harappan civilization, finding more about the history of the place will definitely help him understand more about how olden people lived in the same place and spread the knowledge. Conclude करना है वरना it's a very nicely written good one, but बहुत सारा grammatical mistakes है. तो हर दिन आप पढ़ना है, इंग्लिश को थोड़ा improve करना है. ठीक है. It will definitely collapse, not collapses, Savita. Lose their belongings. Lose means opposite of tight. LOOSE means opposite of tight. You lose your belongings. It's you win, you lose. LOSE. Nicely written. Avita, otherwise a very good one. So those who finish the second paragraph can quickly move to the third paragraph. How can one research about this? What are the ways? All right, folks. So I will have to move now. It's close to 10. I have a class at 10:30 p.m. as well, PTE class. So we will stop it here. Those who are still writing, once done, you can send me the answer in the WhatsApp. I think by tomorrow morning, I will be happy to review it and tell you what mistakes the essay contains. Otherwise, I think we're good to go. I'm going to park the video here. Thanks much. We'll again catch up. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. Have a good night's sleep. Thanks much. Question I will send in the WhatsApp group in a short while.